revenge is so huge for the Bombers. They are looking to get revenge on Vassar. They're motivated. Vassar should be motivated too. They're looking to advance in these playoffs. It's going to be an exciting matchup.
Yeah, and looking over to these Bombers starting off, they have had a fairly strong season to date. They've gone 6-1 in Liberty League play, and they have been on a roll all year.
Oh, yeah, certainly. And I think that they're going to keep this momentum going. They have this momentum with them already. They're looking red hot. They've already beaten Vassar this year. I think they're going to keep that momentum going and try and get this win.
Yeah, and you look back to that Vassar team, and when these two last matched up, it's been all Ithaca in this series since they've joined the Liberty League. The one time Vassar has beaten Ithaca as a member of the Liberty League, it was that Liberty League championship game. And you go back to earlier this year, the Bombers had this one in a very close contest.
Yeah, Ithaca won 2-1 on the road on October 22nd. They were the road warriors in this one. Now they play here at Higgins Stadium. They have the home field advantage. They're ready for this, Toby.
And now we look to the other side in Vassar. They've had a bit of a up and down year so far. They've had stretches where they've looked unbeatable and stretches where they've looked kind of beatable. But coming into this one, they seem to figure things out, especially in that last game against Union.
Key players such as Sophia Bisseth, Jacqueline Arleski are looking really good right now. They're going to be the key players for Vassar in order to get some sort of momentum against Ithaca.
And, John, if you're looking over towards that Ithaca side, they've had so many players come up and contribute throughout this season. What are some names that you're going to look for on the field today to stand out and kind of put the Bombers' best foot forward to try and advance to that final?
Oh, I've got 3 for you, Toby. Number 1, the Chris Paul of the Ithaca Bombers, Natalie Descalzo. 5 goals, 12 assists on the year. She's looking red hot. She's the MVP of this team, in my opinion. And the leader in goals, Juliana Valley, 9 goals, 2 assists. She's doing incredible. Miera Burry, 7 goals, 2 assists. Those 3 are the big 3 for the Bombers. I think those 3 are going to be huge. If they need to step up to the plate like they have all season if they're going to want to get this win.
Yeah, and staying with this Bombers side, you mentioned all those names, all those players who have been key throughout the season. What is the big key for Ithaca today if they're going to want to advance past Vassar and get on to the Liberty League championship game?
Oh, one thing I noted, definitely more shots on goal. In their last game against Vassar, Vassar had 16 shots on goal. Ithaca had 5. They need to get Sarah Dumaresque on her head. They need to make sure that she is always on top, keeping her head swiveling so they can all get this win.
And looking over at Vassar, you mentioned a little bit of who they're looking out at for this game. But if they're going to want to pull that upset on the road, they've had to be kind of road warriors throughout this year. What are you going to look from their side in this contest?
Oh, I think defense wins this game. Ithaca's looking red hot with all the goals against them. Sarah Dumaresque, she's allowing 1.21 goals a game. She has to improve. She has a .576 save percentage. Like I said earlier, she needs to stand on her head tonight in order to beat Ithaca.
Yeah, and talk about the goalies. Let's take a look now back towards that Bombers side. They've got Alex Clough, who's been so good in goals so far this year. What are you going to look from her in today's game?
Oh, definitely just continuing what she's doing. .775 save percentage, gives up .98 goals a game. That's pretty exceptional for a college goalie. Alex Clough is 12-4 on the year. That's really good. If she can continue her hot streak, then Ithaca will be set.
Now, I want you to speak a little bit on mentality because both these teams are coming in with a little bit of revenge on their mind. Obviously, we've mentioned Vassar lost to Ithaca earlier this year, and Ithaca lost to Vassar in that Liberty League championship 2 years ago. How much is that going to play into the minds of these players on the field, and how much are they going to need to control those emotions?
Oh, it's going to be huge, especially for Ithaca. That's the psychological factor of field hockey. They need to keep their emotions in check. Both teams, both Ithaca and Vassar, especially Ithaca, though, because coming off that championship game 2 years ago, Ithaca's looking for more revenge than Vassar did. Vassar just lost a regular season game. Ithaca lost to Vassar in a championship game. That has much more revenge amplifications for Ithaca.
And looking at the people who have captained these two teams from the bench, on Ithaca side, Caitlin Wahila, on Vassar side, Annie Keatsman. Keatsman, just her first year coaching this Vassar team, do you think that kind of inexperience, that first year, that time testing the waters, do you think that plays into the Bombers' favor?
Well, I think so. I think the Bombers, with their more experienced coach, I think there's certainly the coaching factor. Because yes, coaching is certainly important in any sports game. I think Keatsman's been doing an exceptional job, though. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, now looking back over to that Vassar side, are there some more key players that you think are really going to stand out for them if they're going to look to pull that upset on the road?
You mentioned her. You mentioned her earlier. 2 years ago, Haley Brigger. She's already had that clutch moment against Ithaca 2 years ago. Now, if she can get going again, I know she's had 3 goals, 6 assists, which is not bad. But if she can get going tonight, then that could be a pretty good factor for Vassar.
Now,
Look out for.
Jonathan, before we wrap, I want to get your quick hit prediction here. Who do you think moves on to the Liberty League Championship game on Sunday?
I think Ithaca gets their revenge tonight from 2 years ago. I think Ithaca wins 2-1 tonight.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Well, we're going to take a quick break here on VIC Radio. When we come back, myself and Justin Antonucci will have the call of the Liberty League semifinals in field hockey. It's the Bombers, it's Vassar, it's next.
There we go. Thank you. Connor, you read me? All right. We're going to go. You comfortable with 55? All right. We're going to go on 55. All right. Thank you.
Honestly, should we go in after the anthem?
So they're going to blow the horn. They're going to
Um,
everyone up, do rosters, and then they're going to go to anthem. So we can come in either after anthem or we can.
what if we come in? Yeah, I was going to say take a break and then we'll come back, just like football. Hey, Connor. All right. So we're going to come in at 55, but then go to break during the anthem, just like football. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Chance for revenge. That is the story for the Ithaca College women's field hockey team today. A chance for revenge. That is the story for the Ithaca College women's field hockey team today. 727 days ago, Vassar College came right here to Hagan Stadium and took down the Bombers 1-0 in overtime to win the Liberty League Championship. After a playoff loss last year to William Smith, Ithaca is still looking for their first Liberty League title since joining the Liberty League, and they have the opportunity today to get one step closer. It's the 1 seed and now number 25 nationally ranked Ithaca Bombers against the number 4 seed Vassar College right here on VIC Radio and the Bomber Radio Network. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Ithaca Bomber Field Hockey. I'm Justin Antonucci alongside Toby Zabori. And Toby, let's just start off with Ithaca. They just clinched the title in Vassar just a little while ago. Just 11 days ago was Natalie Descalso with the game-winning goal. Talk me kind of through their success throughout the season, but especially with Descalso.
Yeah, Descalso has kind of been that forward on the offense. You heard Jonathan talk about it in the pregame show. She's been so integral to how this team has run. She leads the conference in assists. She leads the team in points. She's top 10 of the conference in shots, leads the conference in shots on goal. Whenever this Bombers team is clicking, it's really because Descalso is helping to lead that offense. She's going to be integral today. You mentioned that game-winning goal at Vassar to secure the Liberty League regular season championship. She's going to be key today if the Bombers want to clinch that trip to the Liberty League Finals.
These teams obviously very familiar with each other as we see the seniors now. Obviously, would now be their 5th matchup against Vassar for their tenure, but let's look at Vassar. They beat Union, 2-1 and just the other day in that first round of the Liberty League tournament. What'd you see in that one, and what can we kind of expect to carry over into today's matchup?
Yeah, well, it was Koval and O'Connell who were getting goals for Vassar, which is interesting. Neither of them are going to be on the starting roster for today, but they're going to be key coming off the bench, and those goals really came late for Vassar. They were able to pile on the points as the game went on and wear down Union. Union had chances late. They weren't able to put anything through the goal, though, and against an Ithaca team that loves to score, it's going to be tough for them if they're unable to get anything going past the defense.
Depth, definitely the key story in this one. Let's go back to the Bombers, though. You look at the depth in that forward, such good, but we're going to come back to this one in a second for the right after the national anthem. Stay with us.
All right, Connor, we got about 1 minute. Connor, you read me? Connor. About 30 seconds. All right, we're after this. You're playing in bed.
Welcome back to Ithaca Bomber Field Hockey here on VIC Radio. Justin Antonucci joined alongside Toby Zabora, and just right after the national anthem, let's kind of get back into our conversation. We mentioned the depth of Ithaca women's field hockey team, especially in the forwards. We talked about Natalie, but Juliana Valley, Mira Burry up there as well. I mean, arguably the best core in the Liberty League.
Yeah, this offense is just so well stacked for Ithaca. That's part of the reason why Vassar is such a good test for them, because Vassar's defense has been what's carried them so far in the playoffs. But Ithaca's offense is just about unrivaled in the Liberty League. You look at what they've put up offensively. So many of their players have been taking them deep and getting them opportunities on net. And I think we're kind of undervaluing Ithaca's chances on defense as well, because they have been really solid there all year.
Yeah, you mentioned defense. That all starts with who's in net. Alex Clough, multiple defensive Liberty League players of the week, even though she's a goalie. Arguably the reason that they are currently the number 1 seed. Obviously, big turnover in that goalie position we know from last year, as we are about to get underway here just quickly on Alex Clough.
Yeah, she's been so solid for the Bombers. I mean, top 5 in the conference at goals against average, saves, save percentages, and shutouts. She has been a big reason why this Bombers offense is just rolling so far on the season. You look at what she was able to do when these two teams last faced off. She played all 60 minutes, only allowed 1 goal on 16 shots faced. She made 6 saves, and that was just below what her season best has been. She's had 7 save games twice this year. That defense might be the reason why Ithaca pulls ahead, because, yes, their offense is so good, but that anchor in net, if you get 1 or 2 goals past, you got a real good shot at making it on to the next round.
As the teams now break huddle here, you hear the crowd. It's a packed stands here at Higgins Stadium. The Bombers in their navy blue with white numbers and white stripes, and Vassar in their white uniforms and maroon letters as we get underway here from Higgins Stadium. Here is Liberty League playoff field hockey, the number 1 seed Bombers and the number 3 seeded Vassar. We got underway. Vassar starting off the possession. It's kind of, see the approach that Vassar takes, as we know how good that Ithaca offense is, but last game, it was kind of very back and forth. You got to wonder if Vassar might be a little bit more aggressive here as a ball goes just out of play. You have Ithaca going from left to right, Vassar going from right to left. As some play in the middle of the field, no clear possession here. Now Vassar has control. That'll be Molly Zuloder. Now on that right wing, Ithaca with a turnover. Left wing, excuse me, as there's just more play here in the middle. But let's go back to last game here. We kind of saw in just 11 days ago, obviously, Vassar taking the loss to Ithaca, but they got on the board there first with Tori Baker with the goal. So, they were aggressive in last game, but you got to wonder if they were able to get the first goal here. Maybe they're, stay on top of their game a little more clearly. They kind of lifted the brakes just 6 minutes later. Ithaca tied that one as the Bombers now gain possession on that far left sideline. Be a play in here.
Yeah, and it's all about who can control the opposing third first. Whoever gets into that attacking third and really holds on to it early in this game, they're going to have a really good shot to pile on those points early.
The first goal in every first point, first goal, whatever the sport is always so crucial. But in the playoffs, just means just more as Vassar now with possession on that far right wing of a little breakout. Unable to get by the Ithaca defense. I believe that is Ashley Grant on that far left side. Vassar now regains possession in their own zone. No clear possession yet. Haven't had any opportunities here. Just 2 minutes into this first quarter here at Higgins Stadium. The Ainsley Grant now on that just near right side. It's Mira Burry, one of the leading goal scorers for this Bomber team, as she takes down to the far right wing. Tries to find Descalso, but it's intercepted by Adu Anderson for the Brewers. Going the other way now here is Vassar. They go up that far right wing now for that. It's Jacqueline Norleski, as that will just go out of the reach. As now Ithaca will retain possession here on that, just around the middle of the field. Trying to break out, unable to. It's defended well by the Brewers. As you got to wonder here, the looks that Vassar's getting, a lot of open field to work with. Not very normal of Ithaca to, leave this much open space, especially in the middle of the field. As there's a whistle here. Believe it might be a very early corner for Vassar. And as we know, mistakes in this one, mistakes, I wouldn't even call this mistakes, but huge opportunities like this, especially just 3 minutes into the game, are so crucial. Both teams are great on corners, Toby. What are you looking for here?
Yeah, really it's going to be how do they get that ball right in the center. The Bombers have been very solid defending corners all year, but if Vassar can flick it right out there in the middle and maybe get a set-up pass early, they can trick Ithaca's goaltenders and take that early lead, which today could take that crowd out of it.
It'll be Maggie Werner here. Plays it in. Lines it up now. Back just inside that striking circle. A shot on net. A nice pad save by Alex Clough. A ripper from Haley Brigger, but unable to find the back of the net as Vassar still has possession, still on the inside, and that one goes out of play. A great defensive play, but an even better save there from Alex Clough.
Yeah, they tried to set it up with that pass in the middle, and it looked like they held on to it just too long, trying to make something go. They finally got a good shot off, but Clough, just a great job extending that right leg out and patting it away.
And Brigger had the angle, but no one in front. So I'd say the one thing you got to do there, if you're Vassar, you got to kind of crowd that striking circle, as Ithaca now has it back in the middle. It's Descalso who plays it in. Ithaca unable to really maintain any possession here so far, just 4 minutes into this contest, as they are going to try to get it up that far left wing. It's now dropped back into play. Still in their own zone. Vassar with a nice press up there in their offensive zone. That's Sophia Besseth, the striker. As she now intercepts it. A good defense play, but it's going to be a whistle. Tried to take it away from Emma Garver, but unable to do so, as now Descalso plays it with a high stick, and it'll go right back to Vassar. Gianna Hoover trying to get it up as much as she can. As it's now Vassar with possession. We've seen a few, that's about the fourth deep pass we've seen already, trying to just skip right through the middle. And, Ithaca's that defensive middle, those midfielders, that's where Ithaca will, especially we've seen throughout the season, has created a lot of chances turning defense to offense. But, those deep passes could definitely be a big concern as, we see them play such press defense.
Yeah, and you try and make those deep passes work, and that's something where Vassar's going to take it away to the Bombers. Just need to be good at kind of moving the ball down the field slowly.
Brigger tries to get in, but it's played nicely there by Madeline Goodman for the Bombers. The junior from Fairfield, Connecticut, but it'll be the Brewers' ball still. Plays it in as Haley Brigger tries to find the stick of Tori Baker, but she's unable to do so, but they still retain possession after a scrum in the middle. Now just outside the striking zone on that left side. Vassar gets it into the striking circle. Jacqueline Norleski tries to get it in. It's deflected out, and it'll be Bomber ball.
Yeah, and we talked about how important it was to be in that attacking third for most of the day. Well, Vassar's done that so far. Ithaca has been on the defensive heels so far, and it's going to be a big key for them is can they move it out of their own territory?
Not something this team is very used to, like we mentioned, as a nice little spin there from Mira Burry as he tries to get it up to Descalso, unable to do so, but a sprinting Ainsley Grant is on it. Grant on that right sideline, just passes the mark. Grant takes it all the way down just outside that striking circle on the far right side, but swinging over and a nice play there is the Brewers. It'll stay with the Bombers, though. A nice defensive play by Kate Nykert. But the Bombers will take it out now here, just outside their striking circle, try to slip in, but another good defensive play. And that one will go back another possession. It's Molly Zunloader on the nice defensive play there for the Brewers.
Yeah, now it's the first time we saw this Ithaca crowd really get into it. Besides that, Slave, it's Parents' Weekend here in Ithaca. The crowd has come out in full force today on a beautiful day to support the Bombers.
I know both our parents are not making the trip up, but we're so busy, but it's fine. A lot of parents in the crowds for Liberty League play here, Liberty League playoffs, excuse me. As the crowd, especially for momentum's sake, you earn that one seed, you earn the right to not have to travel. But so far, again, it hasn't looked like it. It's looked like the Bombers are the one that made the trip from Poughkeepsie, New York, and not the Brewers.
That home cooking has come out with just not that same kind of spice, so they got to reach back in that cupboard where you've got everything you like and everything you know how to work with. That's what the Bombers just got to sit doing here, work with that crowd.
Yeah, one thing that they haven't gone to yet is they like to kind of keep Juliana Valli in their back pocket. Although she is their leading goal scorer, she never starts for the Bombers. You got to wonder, with a slower start, do we see her earlier than usual? We're just now coming down to the 8-minute mark in the first quarter, just 7 minutes into play. Have yet to see her on and have yet to see Descalso and Bury kind of be able to create any chances here, as Vassar just kind of playing keep away now in their own zone as they flick it up now towards the middle of the field. Unable to find possession of the Bombers. Vassar's going to play it back. You see here, it'll go back to the Bombers. I was about to say, not really pressing up on that defense. We kind of see they like to play more trap ball, but the ball will go back to Ithaca. Now on that far left sideline, there'll be a turnover taken out of bounds. And the Brewers will once again retain possession. Ithaca unable to, really maintain possession here so far. The back line now for Vassar, plays it up, tries to attempt another deep pass. It'll go out of bounds on that far right sideline now. As Ithaca will now play it out, and it's a nice interception right on the middle, but it'll deflect back to the Bombers on that right side. Now it's Mira Burry. Burry has some space on that right sideline. Swings it in, tries to find Descalso, tips off of her stick, but unable to find the stick, as now it's intercepted again. Descalso on the striking circle on that far right corner, tries to find the middle, and it's played nicely by the Vassar defense. They now try to clear. Descalso still fighting for it, swings it back in, but once again it's played by Vassar and now cleared out to Mira Burry. Burry tries to get it into the striking circle. A nice defensive play there by Molly Zunloader, as that one will now go in favor of Vassar. The best chance we've seen so far, still able to get a shot on net, are the Bombers, and Vassar holding up strong on defense once again.
Yeah, and they tried to pass it right in front of the goal, but Vassar had built a wall right there on that line, and the Bombers could do nothing trying to pass it in. Descalso did her best, but there was nothing going in the middle of the field.
Hoover and Nykirk, two of the better defensive players here for the Brewers. We've seen them throughout the game so far making some big plays already, as tipped out pass goes wide and out of bounds. It'll be Vassar again, as Ithaca maintained possession for a brief second here, as we are now nearing the 6-minute mark here in the first quarter. Score still knotted at 0 from Higgins Field for Liberty League playoff action for field hockey. Looks like Ithaca will now get possession back on that their far left wing. Tries to swing it in, but it's defended nicely by Tori Baker, as they'll now gain possession again in a sprint to get that ball down. And, Vassar, they like to move quick. Unlike Ithaca, you see there, Ithaca's really trying to set up their plays, but Vassar kind of just likes to shoot down there and just try to, make some stuff as the Scouts almost tips a pass from Kate Nykirk.
Yeah, they're making those long passes, but right there, it kind of works against them. You saw it hop off the turf, and Vassar had to collect to get the ball down, and that was a big problem for Katie Heeb as the Bombers were able to rush over, and by the time she knocked it down, Ithaca was all over it.
Two very opposite styles of play. Kind of makes sense why almost every game that these two teams play is so close, as the Bombers will now gain possession just right around midfield. Scalzo on that right wing, gets it in the middle to Bury. Bury streaking down the field, now into that striking circle, tries to go for the cross. Looks like she just fanned on it. That one will go out of play, and Vassar will retain possession. It looked like she had a player streaking. I believe that was Valley now in there, but unable to find her, elects to keep it to herself instead, and unable to find the back of the net. Vassar now has possession. They go for that deep pass again, but it's nicely played and batted down there by Sarah DeVito.
Then you go back to that streaking play. That's just one where you've got your eyes streaked all the way down the field on your own stick. You're really not looking around and cost the Bombers a potential goal.
A few substitutions here for the Bombers, as there is now 4 minutes left here in the first quarter. It'll be Gianna Hoover taking it out on that left sideline. Deflects off to Skausko, and they'll do it again. Hoover, no goals or assists this year. Just a true defenseman for the Brewers, as they're unable to set something up, and possession will go right back to Ithaca. So you hear the crowd getting into this one. This team needs a spark. They've looked a little slower than they've definitely liked, as they retain possession now here, and they try to find Descalso. Streaking on the wing is Brenna Schoenfield, but she just pitched that one a little far. Schoenfield, the sophomore, has been a huge impact for this team off the bench so far. 4 goals, 2 assists on the season, 10 total points. And we talked about earlier the veteran forwards, but some young players as well have been huge for this team so far this season.
Yeah, Ithaca lost a lot of people the last 2 years to graduation, but they've been able to replenish with a lot of really good talent. And look at the players who they have here. A lot of their best players, juniors and sophomores.
Bury swings it up and just goes over the stick of Gianna Hoover, but possession will be given to Vassar, as they're just going to play their fast-paced offense again. Try to find a pass over the middle of the field, but it's intercepted there by Sarah DeVito, who was unable to bring it down in full control. Now it's Vassar with possession. Here's Katie Heeb. A nice defensive play there by the Bombers, as they'll flip possession just over midfield now. 2 minutes and 41 seconds left. Here is Mira Bury. Bury gets hit, and they were going to give Ithaca their first corner of the game, Toby. A huge corner here as time winds down in the first quarter. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left here, and a huge opportunity for the Bombers.
And you just heard how the crowd feels about that corner. They're stomping their feet in the metal bleachers. Ithaca always comes out in force with the fans when it comes to field hockey, and especially when it comes to the playoffs on a Friday afternoon. They are here. Now the Bombers get their first real chance at a goal all day. We'll see what they do as they huddle up there at the top of the circle.
Yeah, it's Sarah Doomrest. Hasn't been tested yet at all today. Let's see how she looks in potentially facing her first shot. It'll be Brenna Schoenfield taking it out on the right side of the net for the Bombers. Schoenfield plays it in. It's tapped down now. Set up for on that left side, now brought in. It's a deflected in front, unable to get a shot on net, now wide. And possession, I believe that another corner will be for the Bombers.
Yeah, and right there, the Bombers got in front, had their opportunity. They waited a little long to shoot it in some of those spaces, but Vassar's defense has been so good all year. They were all over it, but the Bombers getting a second opportunity, and you don't want to let this play out for too long if you're Vassar.
It'll be another corner here. Schoenfield plays it in, unable to field it cleanly, though. Now back in that striking circle, rips it on net, but it's tipped wide, and now a goal for the Bombers. But it looked like that might have been touched by a high stick, and yes, it was. An unfortunate situation there. I thought I saw it, but I didn't see a clear call from the referee. Couldn't tell who really got the attempt on that, but can't have your stick that high, Toby.
Yeah, and that was when we were just trying to knock it down. And you see early in that corner attempt. The ball took a bad hop off this turf. Field hockey is played on something almost akin to like a carpet. You want to have as much give into that turf as possible for the ball to bounce off of. And right there, that was one of those negative side effects of that where it just took a bad hop off a stick.
But that was the look they were looking for. Obviously, a stick a little too high, but that was a high leverage opportunity. No one in front of the goalie there. An unfortunate going 0 for 2 on corners there, as Vassar will now have the ball. 1 minute and 31 seconds left here in this first quarter. Still knotted at 0-0 here at Higgins Field. As the sun starts to set just a little bit, we were lucky, though. Nice weather, like you mentioned in the pregame. It's been pretty cold the last few days, so ideal playing conditions out here as Ithaca will have possession in their own half. It'll be Mira Burry on that sideline, tries to find the middle, bounces over the stick of Emma Garver, but the Bombers still have possession. It's Garver again just outside that striking circle, tries to find Descalso, but possession will go back to Vassar. And here's another deep pass, but it just misses the stick of Tori Baker, and Ithaca will hold possession again as here's a whistle. Looks like Ithaca will have possession. Common foul there by Vassar.
Yeah, you look at deep passes. They can either work greatly in your favor or work greatly against you, because if they work, there's nobody beat you. But if they don't, you're giving it right away.
Far right side line now. It's Mira Burry who's just approached the end of that striking circle. It's tipped out of play by Molly Zunloader as Ithaca will get the possession back here. Playing it out is Emma Garver with 25 seconds left here in the first quarter. A nice interception by Vassar. They're going to take it the other way. Here's Tori Baker up the sideline. 20 seconds now left on that left sideline. She's going to spin and try to find the stick of another player, and she does. Now up the field, it's Jolina Ishmaeli. Ishmaeli with 10 seconds left just outside the left side of that striking circle. Tries to find the middle. She does, but it just tips off the stick of Tori Baker. And unable to get a good look there, but with 4.6 seconds left, do we have another corner here, Toby?
Bombers are going to have to survive one. There's only 4 seconds on the clock, but that's enough for Vassar to knock it in and get an opportunity on goal. Bombers' defense has been stellar so far, but they got to hold up once more in this quarter before they can go back, take a little bit of a breather.
As you know, the clock stops as well in the corner, so plenty of time to set up is Vassar. 4.6 seconds left here in the first quarter, looking for a late breakthrough to go up 1-0. Here's the play-in. It's tapped down outside the striking circle with 1 second left. Not enough time, and that'll do it for the first quarter. They stand strong, and not really the look Vassar was looking for there.
Yeah, and right there, they were just trying to get it off quickly. They saw the time on the clock, and they knew you got to make something happen right now. And they did their best. They got it right to the top, but Ithaca knew where they were going to be. They made a good play on it, and they just kept it out. So now the Bombers get to move back and get that little bit of a break to reset their offense.
Just 0-0 here so far. Let's start with Ithaca quickly. Obviously not the ideal start. You could say arguably Vassar looked better, and statistically they have a few more shots on net. What can Ithaca do better to start this second quarter off strong?
Pressure. They have not been putting the pressure enough on Vassar. The ball has stayed in the middle third toward their Ithaca's defensive third almost all day. You have to move the ball into Vassar's territory and make their defense play on its heels. Vassar's defense has been incredible all year, but if you can get it by them, then you start to make everything snowball, because that offense doesn't usually have what it takes to pick themselves back up. So Ithaca just needs to keep the pressure going and really feed off the fans. If they keep the pressure on, the fans will keep the pressure on, and that just makes everything compound.
2 shots for Vassar, 1 shot for Ithaca so far, but the goalie's obviously looking sharp as early, especially Alex Clough with a beauty of that. I believe it was the right pad now thinking about it, a beauty of a save there. However, though, although offensively they haven't looked as good defensively, they still look pretty sharp, especially after that early chance there from Vassar. But let's look at this Vassar offense. We saw them kind of going for not necessarily more risky passes, but more weight down the field. You see Ithaca kind of likes to play more close quarters. What can Vassar do to try to generate more chances here?
I think we'll be taking away all those deep passes. Yes, they've worked so far in getting the ball down the field past Ithaca defenders, but 90% of the time when Vassar's tried that, it's been intercepted by the Bombers because Vassar just hasn't played it right. That may be what's gotten them so far today, but against Ithaca, just take the short passes, give what the defense gives you, and if that means a short pass right across the middle, you do that and you just move the ball down the field, because Ithaca's defense won't give you that opportunity all the time.
As we near the start of the second quarter here on VIC Radio and the Bomber Radio Network, 0-0 is your score. As players return to the field, Ithaca still going left to right, Vassar going right to left. Ithaca again in their navy blue with white lettering, and Vassar in their white uniforms with maroon lettering and numbers. As Vassar will start off the second quarter, with possession as it's played out early by Molly Zuloder. No possession yet as Ithaca gains it for a brief second. Now on that far left side. Wonder, Ithaca has found so much success with going from, Mira Bury straight up to Descalso all season, but we haven't really seen that look yet. Let's see if they try to pivot to that more in the second quarter as a ball trickles out of play on the right sideline. And Kylie Sullivan for the Bombers will take out possession. Tries to get it up the right sideline, but it's intercepted as now Vassar will break out with possession. Here's Sophia Bessith. Bessith tries to dance between just a little too many defenders, and a nice play there by Bella McAllister, but it's a nice turnover. Again, a good defensive effort there by Molly Zunlauder. Zunlauder dances on the far left sideline, still a little ways from the striking circle, unable to find the stick of Haley Brigger. As now Ithaca will gain possession here as Kylie Sullivan will take it out on the right side. Still in their own zone, finds the stick now of Peyton Yonner, new into the game. Yonner, the freshman from Greene, New York, made a few appearances this year, an assist as well. Again, that younger talent we saw. You talked about so much turnover as a collision just inside Ithaca's half, but it'll go back to Vassar.
Yeah, and Yana, you talk about that young talent for the Bombers. That could make a big difference in about a year or two, but right now they're sticking with the people who have gotten them here, and that's been a lot of those sophomores and a lot of those juniors and seniors, especially players like Natalie Descalso and the other girls out there on the field.
Descalso currently out of the game, but now this is where it's Juliana Valley's time to shine as she comes in to start this second quarter. As we mentioned, the leading goal scorer for this Bombers team so far, as we see her with possession, tries to find a cross pass to Ainsley Grant, but is unsuccessful. And now Vassar will retain possession just over midfield now. Tries to swing it deep, tipped out of play there by Ainsley Grant, and Vassar will retain possession. Molly Zonlauder is with the ball, and she's been pretty good for this Vassar team. 3 goals and an assist on the year, the senior, as the ball is played way deep in, but it'll go right back to Ithaca. But let's go back to this Vassar team. We're talking about a lot of the Ithaca players, but Vassar's got some very talented offensive weapons as well.
Yeah, they've got the pieces to put this one together. They've got, 6 assists coming out of Haley Brigger, 7 goals from Jacqueline Narleski. They have been able to put it together at the right time. To look at Sophia Bisseth with 9 goals. When that offense clicks, it clicks. It's just when it doesn't, problems start to formulate for the Brewers.
And as we mentioned, Narleski, the leading, Sophia Bisseth, the leading goal scorer, but Jacqueline Narleski isn't a starter for this team, but similar to Ithaca, the goal scorer has come off the bench. She's now in the game as well for Vassar at the striker position. So let's see if they try to feed her a little bit more. As we saw, Haley Brigger had that early first quarter opportunity. They haven't found much since, as still no team with real possession or a real threat yet has gotten to anywhere near their striking circle with a dominant possession. As it's a war just on that right sideline, it's Ainsley Grant as she wins possession on the right side. Ainsley Grant streaking down just outside the striking circle now, tries to swing it over, but a nice defensive play there as she retains possession, tries to swing it in, but it's Gianna Hoover once again locking down that left side for the Brewers.
Yeah, and just intercepting that pass, knocking it away, and giving Vassar a bit of a break. The Bombers' offense was looking to get that fast break, and they've broken a lot of teams that way.
4 minutes into play here. 11-12 now on the clock as Kate Nykirk, will play it out for Vassar, as now it's intercepted by Ithaca. They'll go the other way, just on the stick, just past the stick of Valley, right outside that striking circle, a little bit more on the left side, unable to find possession, and Vassar will regain possession. A good streaking pass, though, just misses the stick of Juliana Valley.
Yeah, and speed has been on the Bombers' side today. Anytime those streaking passes go down, it has been the Bombers who have gotten to it.
As Catherine Papa tries to deflect the ball, and it nails her in the head, but it'll be Ithaca ball here now in their offensive zone. They're going to swing it in the striking circle. It's on the stick of Ainsley Grant. Grant tries to get a shot off. A nice defensive play there by Sophia Bessith. A great play there. Grant had an angle on that right side, but unable to find a shot on net.
Yeah, and it was Bessith who really took that angle away quickly. If Grant looked and found it a second sooner, Bombers may have a point on the board, but Bessith did a great job just intercepting that one and knocking out and give possession back to Vassar.
Ithaca now with the ball on their own left sideline, just in their own half. Just at midfield, now flicks it way over, a little rainbow pass, but it's played cleanly by Molly Zunlauder as she tries to find it up, and a nice defensive play there by Nicole Fortunato, but a streaking Molly Zunlauder tries to play it. It'll go back into Vassar's possession, now in their own zone. And Zunlauder once again tries to get a swing pass. She gets it now in the middle of the field. Is Tori Baker, who's had a few potential chances early, is now it's on that right wing. Nicole Fortunato defending. Vassar brings it in just outside their striking circle on that right side. A nice defensive play there by Ithaca, and they'll gain possession here. Tries to get a nice pass from the left side, but a whistle blown by the referee. Looks like Ithaca, I believe, will regain possession.
Yeah, it's just going to be a procedural to sit the ball up during the field. Just kind of didn't get to set it up before that initial break.
Works in their favor, though, because if that one goes out of bounds, it's straight to Vassar. But instead, the referee on Ithaca's side is there's a war in the middle in Vassar's offensive zone. As now Ithaca will take it cleanly here on their right circle. Descalso back in the game for the Bombers. Now it's on just wide of her stick. Almost be able to play a potential danger opportunity, but Gianna Hoover cutting off the angle. As now she'll take it out for the Brewers.
Yeah, and you look, they had Schoenfield right up top, so you feel like they would have gone at Descalso, and she would have just tipped it into that middle, unable to do so.
Valley, it's way over her stick as she tries to touch it, and now it would be Nicole Fortunato on that far left side for the Bombers. Dances with it a bit. Now a pass now into the middle, but Vassar with a nice defensive play there, and it's turned over again by Ithaca. Now on Fortunato's stick, tries to find Sarah DeVito in a little deception pass, but the Brewers are all over it, and once again, they're bending a little bit more faster pace of play here for the Brewers, but they're holding very strong on that back line.
And the thing is, they're getting back when the ball does start entering their territory, and the Bombers just aren't making that connection yet. You think once they do, they'll have those opportunities, but Vassar so far playing it to the best that they can.
Tori Baker tries to find the stick of her teammate, but is unable to find it. As now, I believe it will be Vassar ball here. And in their offensive zone here, 7 minutes and 45 seconds left here from Higgins Stadium. You're listening to VIC Radio, the Bomber Radio Network, as Vassar swings one way past the stick of their teammate, as that one will go out of play.
Just trying to set it up in the middle and just didn't work out to get that touch pass going.
We are seeing way more of, the Ithaca brand of field hockey in this second quarter than we have seen in the first quarter. They look like, I wouldn't even say a new team, but they just look way faster, and you can kind of see it eating Vassar alive here. But as Vassar will have a chance potentially outside their striking circle, and now they'll get a corner.
Yeah, third corner of the game for Vassar, and they're just going to try and get it through. That last one came with only 4 seconds left in the first quarter. Now they've really got time to set it up. And you wonder if they're going to go back to that play that they tried and maybe slow it down a bit, because it almost worked, but they were just too quick on that stick move. Now if they slow it down, maybe it gives them that break.
It'll be Maggie Werner, the senior, taking it out here for Vassar. We saw they had 2 in that first quarter, but the second one was really kind of a rush. Now, though, with 7 minutes and 12 seconds left, they'll be able to fully set up. And here we go. It's played in, tapped down just outside the striking circle. Swinged off still outside the striking circles. Now all the Ithaca defense will get back, and it's tried to find the stick of Tori Baker, but a procedural error, and Ithaca will retain possession. Not what you want if you're the Brewers.
Yeah, you don't want to give that ball away, but Baker brought her stick up a little too high. You never want to have a corner opportunity taken away because you make a mistake, but right there, Vassar has that happen.
And you got to get it into the striking circle. I understand that the first touch has to be outside, but that second pass to even further out, just working backwards, doesn't make much sense for the Brewers, as they're unable to find anything on that third corner opportunity. Still knotted at 0 here, as the Brewers are going to swing it way up, but it's a nice defensive play there from Ithaca, and they now have it in their own offensive zone on that far left sideline. Dancing with it, trying to find, as there's a whistle, and the Brewers will retain possession here. And another quick pass there, but almost too quick, and a nice defensive play there from Bella McAllister, as Ithaca once again will get back possession. 6 minutes left now here at Higgins Stadium, still knotted at 0 on that right sideline. Now it's Mira Burry. Burry trying to find Descalso, but it's deflected, and another nice defensive play there from Molly Zunlauder. Feels like we've been calling her name a lot on that left side.
Yeah, and she's been all over it so far for Vassar. She's been such a big part of their game so far to this point all year long. Looks to continue it here today, and she's been doing that for the Brewers.
Vassar now in their own zone on that far right. Sneaks way into the striking circle. Goes past the stick of a few Ithaca defenders, but another whistle. And Ithaca, I believe, will get possession back here. That one, you kind of hold your breath there for a second. That one got by the stick of about 4 Ithaca defenders, but a whistle nonetheless.
Yeah, the play was there for Vassar. They just couldn't get it to go, and that error gives it back to the Bombers.
Descalso chips it over. Now a nice opportunity here for Ithaca. Descalso just outside the right striking circle. Still send it in, but fans on it, and it goes out of play on the right side of the net. Unable to find a striking Schoenfield in the middle. That's the second time now in this game where they fanned on a pass in the middle while striking down that right side, but it looks like they're trying to go to that right side way more.
Yeah, I think they know the weakness down there in goal of Dumaresque, and they're trying to exploit it on the right, but just both times have been unable to get that pass to center.
It'll be Ithaca ball here as Mira Burry dances now in the striking circle, tries to find the middle, but another nice defensive play there from Vassar. That time Heidi Compton holding it down, the senior. Another nice defensive play there from Vassar, but it'll still be Ithaca in a dangerous situation. Tries to find it, and it tips up, and Schoenfield on net. Are they going to call a high stick again? Yes, they are.
Well, I think they're going to call something against Vassar.
Oh, really?
It's going to be a corner opportunity. So there was a penalty before the shot was taken.
That one go in the net, though? It looked like it trickled in, right?
Okay,
net, I'm not going crazy. Okay, I was about to say, it looked like it went in there, but, kind of hold your breath there for Vassar. A timely penalty, to say the least, as it'll be a corner, though. Schoenfield, we thought goal scorer, will be the one taking it out. They can't just give us anything easy. The 2 goals that have gone in so far have both been called back, but Schoenfield sends it in now on the corner from the top of the circle, and a tip, and it's in. What a goal there from the Bombers, and they lead 1-0 here in the Liberty League playoffs here from Hagen Stadium.
That one counts. You're able to find it right inside, and we were talking about how the right side was going to be kind of a thing that Vassar was maybe bad at because Ithaca was exploiting it so far in this game, and right there it works to their advantage. That second pass came in and was angled into the right, and it was a great job there by Mira Burry, just diving with her stick netted out and just touches it into the goal. Bombers take that lead in a game where you gotta win. That's huge.
At the 4-minute and 12 mark, Mira Burry scores her 8th of the season, her first of this playoffs, and a timely lead there for the Bombers. What a diving effort there on that right side. That's exactly what they needed. They were like, hey, they're gonna take a goal away from us. We want it right back, and that's exactly what they do. And this is the brand of field hockey that Ithaca wants to play.
Yeah, Burry's 8th goal on the season. She has been all over it there for the Bombers, now just 1 behind Juliana Valley.
As Vassar will dance with it a bit. It's Juliana Ishmi, number 7, just outside the striking circle, and a whistle there, and a slash. I believe it'll be, they're going to give a corner to Vassar. Yes, they are. The ref's just a little delayed with the calls, making our life just a little bit difficult, but it's fine. We move.
We adapt, but the Bombers' defense has also adapted in this one. They have done a very good job at now changing their approach, and they've been putting that pressure on Vassar. Vassar's big pressure has come on corners, but again, the first goal of the game came on a corner. Vassar hopes the second one does, because right here, they maybe learn from that last one and will maybe try and pass it in.
It'll be Maggie Werner again taking it out. This time a short pass there to Sophia Besseth, as now at the top of the striking circle. On net and tipped and just wide. I believe that was Gianna Hoover who got her stick on it, but unable to find the back of the net. It might actually have been Sophia Besseth, number 14, but regardless, kind of a huge break there for Ithaca, as that one got by everyone, even the goalie, but it just went wide of that left post. Now, once again, with it, a little shove action there from Sophia Besseth, maybe taking out her frustration on that one. Ithaca not happy about that one, as they'll retain possession nonetheless.
Yeah, and you go back to that missed goal by Vassar. They had it right on there, just tipped off the wrong part of the stick for the Brewers and just deflected out. That is their best chance they've had all day.
A great chance indeed, and we talked about, again, how important penalty corners now. We've now seen each team with a few, and each team getting better on each one, and that's where being so, mentally in this game is not taking not giving those corner opportunities, but we've seen a little bit more than I'm sure both teams would have liked. Nonetheless, it'll work in the Bombers' favor as their only goal coming off a penalty quarter as we near the 2-minute mark here in this second quarter. Bombers with the lead 1-0 here with possession in their own zone. They try to swing it up, but Emma Garver will fan on it. Now Vassar gives back possession as Haley Brigger dancing through the midfield, but a nice streaking defensive play, and Ithaca will go the other way. They have numbers, but just a missed pass just over the stick of Brenna Schoenfeld, and Vassar will dance with it now in the middle. It'll be Mira Burry, the goal scorer, taking it up now on that right wing across midfield. Tries to find Descalso off the stick, though, of a Vassar defender. That was Kate Nykirk, as Nykirk's going to try to get this one out. Goes off the foot of Descalso. Schoenfeld fighting for it, but Vassar still that defense holding strong as it'll be Haley Brigger taking it out now here. 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this second quarter as Vassar unable to really control possession here.
Yeah, now that ball is just playing around the middle of the field, and you look to earlier, the Bombers had an opportunity streaking attackers, and a pass just went too far.
1 minute, just nearing the 1 minute mark now here in this second quarter as Vassar will dance with it in their own zone. Now tries to swing it up the right sideline, but unable to do so as another failed long pass attempt. You got to wonder if they're going to try to switch it up and play a little bit more close, use their midfielders a little bit more, as these long passes haven't really been succeeding for the Brewers.
Yeah, you think we talked about it during that quarter break. Touch passes, that's what's going to make this go. Just got to find it to where the person is open. But Vassar, they've loved the long pass today. It hasn't worked, but if they can break one, maybe they get a goal.
40 seconds now left here in the second quarter. It'll be Vassar from their own zone trying to get one late here. They're going to play it back, though, as Descalso will pressure, unable to get it, as that one will go out of play. And Ithaca will now have a chance with 27 seconds left as a whistle flies. That clock keeps running, though. It'll be Vassar ball, actually. They're going to take it out. Probably just milk this clock down. Don't want a timely turnover. They're just going to swing this one. But a nice tip deflected play. And now Ithaca has numbers. It's Juliana Valley. Tries to find the stick of Descalso with 10 seconds left now as that one swings back. Now try to get into the striking circle. It's on the stick of Brennan Schoenfeld with 5. Now outside the striking circle with 2 seconds and 1. Unable to get a shot off before the half. And that'll do it for the first half here from Hagen Stadium. It's 1-0 Bombers here on VIC Radio and the Bomber Radio Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as our own Toby Zabori and Jonathan Falco got you with the halftime show. Stay with us.
Connor, you read me? All right, play one more promo after this, and then open.
Welcome to this Liberty League playoff edition of the Halftime Show. I'm Jonathan Falco, and I am joined by Toby Zabore. And Toby, Mira Burry scored her 8th goal of the season to put the Bombers up 1-0. What are your thoughts on her overall performance in this first half?
I mean, she's been all over for the Bombers, and a great job there. They were able to get her down, and on that corner, she kind of dove in. We were talking earlier during the game about how the Bombers are trying to expose to the left side of Sarah Demoresque, and they were just unable to get it, going all the way to that left side of the goal, and they just kept missing. They kept missing. They couldn't set it up, and right there they do by going the other way from the right to the left instead of from the left to the middle, and it worked perfectly as Bury just dived on it and knocked it in.
Yeah, and after 3 corners that Ithaca was able to get, they finally got one. Miera Bury's looking really well, and that was the only shot. That was the only shot on goal in this first half for the Bombers. So they're going to need to put some more pressure on, in my eyes, Toby.
Yeah, and you look at what the Bombers have been able to do all year offensively. Pressure has been kind of a name of the game for them. They've been really good at forcing other teams' defenses to hold strong and then taking advantage when they don't. And right there in the first half, Vassar's defense has been what's carried them so far this season. It's been what has held them throughout the year, has gotten them to this point, and we're seeing why so far out there on the field. They have done such a good job of keeping everything Ithaca has tried away from the back of the net, and really, from anything in that attacking third, Ithaca's going to have to step that offense up. But if you're Vassar, really good job so far.
Yeah, so let's go on to the defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about the goaltenders, Alex Clough and Sarah Dumaresque. What are your thoughts on them? What are your takeaways from?
They both have been playing absolutely stellar. You look over there at Clough. She's had some great saves so far. Just one time where she kind of missed the ball that was right there towards the end of the first half, and it was lucky that it went out of bounds, but she had that great pad save off the right leg, knocked it away. Everything else, she has done a very good job at just kind of keeping it in front of her and keeping her good eyes on it, and Dumaresque has done a very good job herself. Anything that's really come in, she's gotten a pad on it and knocked it away, but the one time that she really needed to find it, it was that diving play by Bury that just knocked it in.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Ithaca's been putting up an exceptional amount of pressure on Dumaresque, but I think a little more is needed. I know they had those 2 goals that were waved off earlier in this game, and I think a bit more pressure would certainly help the Bombers. So what do you think, speaking of improvements, what are your overall thoughts? What do you think Vassar and Ithaca need to improve on in the second half?
We talked about it kind of during that first quarter break. Vassar needs to stop trying those deep passes. Yes, when you get it to work, you get it behind a defender, but so far not a whole lot of them have gone their way. A lot of them end up taking a bad bounce and it goes towards Ithaca. The Bombers are knowing that Vassar likes to make that long pass. So they're sending players kind of deep, waiting for it to bounce past the stick and be right there to intercept it. It's a common knowledge really in any sport. You take what the defense gives you. If the Bombers' defense is giving Vassar the short passes, take that. Make the short, smart passes, set it up across the field, and just move the ball down the field smartly. And meanwhile, for the Bombers, it's going to be adding up that pressure. Once they get into the attacking third, take advantage of it. Don't go right away. Kind of get your offense down there, let everything set up. And I know Vassar's defense will have the same time to do that as well. And their defense has been so stellar this year. But still take those opportunities, because when your offense sets up, that's when things start going your way if you're the Bombers.
I completely agree with you, especially with Vassar. Their long passes have not helped them at all, as what they might have thought that they would have helped with. But because all these interceptions have been huge for the Bombers, they've been able to keep Alex Clough away from it. And completely focus it on the offense. And for the Bombers, yes, I completely agree. Speaking of the offense, the pressure needs to be there. They cannot completely rely on corners. They need to start getting a bit more pressure. So that being said, who do you think are the MVPs for both Ithaca and Vassar?
I mean, you got to look at Bury. The only person to have a goal so far in this half is being clear MVP for the Bombers. But on the other side, a lot of their defenders who maybe don't have numbers showing up in the stat column have been really good for them. They've been taking those passes away. They've been moving the ball down the field. Juliana Valley was a name that came up a lot in the first half. I think you could easily make a case for her. And on the other side, Kate Nykirk, she's done such a good job in this game. And Molly Zunlauter has done such an amazing job on her own, along with Sophia Bisseth, just keeping the Bombers out of the net and keeping that defense kind of on the toes for the Bombers.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I especially agree with you on your MVP for the Bombers, Miera Bury. She's looking red hot right now. If she can keep going, then the Bombers can run away with this thing. Now, what are some of your predictions for the second half?
Well, I think for the Bombers, it's really going to be that they can get the defense going. We saw after that first quarter break, and when they came into that huddle, they were able to make everything go, figure everything out, and kind of click there offensively. I kind of expect the same thing to happen here. They're going to have that conversation, and maybe they work on the speed. We know the kind of coach that Caitlin Wahila is. She can make something happen if you give her the time right now to set it all up. You look to the other side in Vassar. This is a team that has been tested all year, especially tested defensively. And for Annie Kietzman, she's a first-year head coach. She's trying to make this Vassar team make a deep run again in the Liberty League playoffs. I think for them it's going to be reverting back to what's worked. Strong defense and short passes today. Take what the defense gives you and make everything go for the Bombers.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. But I think for both teams, I think both Ithaca and Vassar needs to rely on their star players. Ithaca, I talked about her in the pregame show. Natalie Descalzo. Juliana Valley and Mira Burry, again, if those three can get going, then this is going to be a runaway for the Bombers. However, I don't think that there's going to be any more goals scored in this one. I personally think it's going to remain 1-0. I think this game's been relatively low score. I think both defenses have done exceptionally well preventing these shots on goal from occurring.
Yeah, and you want to talk about a defensive slugfest. Just look to the other game of the Liberty League semifinal action right now. Start of the third quarter between William Smith and Rochester. Nobody's gotten a shot off in that game. It's still 0-0. Think about this game being a slugfest. Well, that one, both defenses have come to play, and whoever wins this one is going to have to face a team just like Vassar or just like Ithaca, who their defenses have been so solid. So look on both sides. You kind of want to face a really solid defense because that's what you're going to see in the next round.
Yeah, it seems like it's a pretty common theme in these Liberty League playoffs so far. Just in this game and the game that's going on right now, I think defense, as the expression goes, defense wins championships. And this is what's been going on right now. Only 1 goal scored in both of those games combined. And it's been Ithaca. It's been right here in Higgins Stadium. And pressure is going to be really important for both of those games.
Yeah, pressure, and you're going to see the Ithaca offense kind of put their foot down on the gas in this one. I think they start to move away.
You got a score prediction for the second half?
I'm going to keep it at 2-0 Bombers. I think they add one more.
I keep mine at 1-0. All right, we're gonna send it back to Toby and Justin Antonucci. We'll see you at the postgame show.
Quick, guys. Hey, Connor, you there? All right, we're going to go quick here. We're going to have I do one more promo and then play to open.
The gray skies have come down on Higgins Stadium like the defenses who have come down on this turf. Bombers lead 1-0 as we get set to go into the third quarter. Descalso for the Bombers hovers over the ball at the A of the Ithaca midfield logo. Bombers in this second half will be moving from right to left. Vassar will be moving from left to right. And Justin, halftime adjustments from each of these teams. What do you think we're going to see as we get started?
I think Ithaca's adjustment isn't even an adjustment. Just keep up what you've been doing. I think their adjustment really came in the first quarter when they completely ramped up their pace of play. And for Vassar, stop going for the home run pass. Just, play more tactical, play through your midfield a little bit more because, as we've seen, the home run pass has been absolutely shut down by Ithaca.
Well, the Bombers start with it going into that Vassar territory. They're starting to try and put the pressure on the Brewers early as the pass kind of skips over stick of a Bomber, but they're able to hang on to it on that far sideline, and that one rolls out. It'll still be Bomber ball as Ithaca will take it right at the line, demarking the Vassar defensive territory.
I think the one thing we're going to look for in this second half especially.
Shot taken inside the shooting circle, but it's knocked away by Vassar, and their defense comes up strong. A whiff on a potential pass, and it goes out of bounds, Vassar ball.
I think we're just going to be looking at the discipline. We saw a little too many corners probably than more, and then either side would have liked, obviously, a 0 in that stat is ideal, but even 1 or 2, but we saw especially careless mistakes that led to corners and that eventually led to that Ithaca goal. But make no mistake, Vassar had their opportunities, especially from the corner. They had, I believe it was 4 opportunities, no goals. So I think mentally is really where the adjustment's going to come.
Well, Vassar took a deep pass down there, but no one was there to haul it in, and it got away. So the Bombers take over once again as they now put their heels on defense. Brewers intercepting the pass, moving into Bomber territory. Ithaca knocks it away, and again, a great job by the Bombers on defense as Nicole Fortunato tries to take it out, sticked away by Vassar, and a whistle blows, so the Brewers get some space.
This is, we didn't really see too much maintained possession for Vassar as they have an opportunity now here.
Whistles blow again as Werner tried to take it out, but she trips up the Bombers, and Nicole Fortunato will get to move that ball out for Ithaca as Sarah DeVito was right on top of it, but pushed down by the Brewers.
Yeah, the back line, though, for Vassar, as I was going to get to, has been shut down so I feel like the biggest thing for Vassar might not even, just go back to your original question, it might not necessarily be an adjustment, but just, again, it's about the mistakes, because if you take out the corners in this game, you could argue that Vassar's looked like the better team so far, undoubtedly defensively.
Well, Fortunato tries to pass it in, but it's picked up by the Brewers. Whistle blows. Vassar now has it in the attacking zone. A sweep pass in and a save by Klaus. She knocks it away. Vassar had an opportunity in front of the goal. They have once more. Whistle blows, Bomber ball. Alex Klaw. What a save.
I mean, that just missed the stick of Sophia Beseth to potentially redirect that one and tap it in. There was no one in her way, but that pass just a little too hot, and I don't even think Clough was expecting that one. I think she was playing the position of Sophia Beseth, but that's why I think what kind of warranted that late reaction from the right pad, but nevertheless, a great save there and a silencer for another early opportunity to start a half for Vassar.
Well, the right pad has gotten a lot of work for Clough today as the Bombers in that middle territory. She has 2 saves from the right leg. Bombers bringing it closer to the attacking circle. Just trying to move it in. Here's a pass inside, and it goes wide once more. Another one of those centering passes by the Bombers right by the baseline of the goal that just goes wide. A common theme through the first half.
Yeah, but as bad as it is, at least they're getting the looks. They have all that open space on the right side. That's something Vassar wishes they can even get one of those opportunities. The wing defense from this Bomber team has been sensational, but we've seen it get a little shaky once when Vassar works in the middle of the field, which is why they just got to keep targeting the middle. But on the flip side, yeah, you would like to see one or two of those find the stick in the middle, but the Schoenfield goal that was called back was one of them. But yeah.
As Vassar holding on to position, passes it across the midfield line, quickly rolling, and a misplay by the Brewers. Maggie Werner had her stick on it, but she knocks it out, and the Bombers get possession.
We've seen Maggie Werner all over the field so far in that midfield, unable to secure that one.
As the Bombers have it, trying to move their offense ahead. They've had opportunities here in the third quarter. 10:42 to go in the third. Bombers lead 1-0 over Vassar as they have a streaking attack down, but it just gets past the stick of Descalso and Brewer ball. One of those deep passes for Ithaca that they're unable to corral.
Seems like that's almost, the first or second one they've attempted all game. They've been, I wouldn't say perfect on the passes, but, when streaking down the wings, those passes have been pretty sharp all game. Just a misplay there by the Bombers.
Well, the Brewers now trying to take it out of their own defensive third. There's a deep pass, but it's going to be played on by Fortunato. She can't get a good stick on it, and now streaking down goes Karina Hoffman. Hoffman for the Brewers tries to bring it out inside the attacking circle. Bombers are going to have to get close inside on the defense, and they sweep it out. So they get the ball outside. Brewers will still hang on to position, but the Bombers avoid the imminent threat as Maggie Werner takes it in from the sideline. She passes it deep to the top of that defensive area. It's tipped away by the Bombers. Ball will hold on to by Vassar.
Yeah, just, some desperation defense here from Ithaca. It's another shutdown on the wing, but again, they're bending at this point, but they're not breaking. You see how so calm they are, especially in the middle, that even when Vassar is getting their opportunities from the middle, it's haven't really been a serious scoring threat since the first minute of the game.
And a bit of a lucky break for the Bombers is that one, a foul called on Vassar, so they got the opportunity in free position. Brewers pick it right back up, and they're back on the attack. Pass across inside. Another whistle blows, and it will be Bomber ball. So a foul on the Brewers, and the Bombers once again get to reset and get their offense going.
As nice as it is to have a lead now, Toby, you still don't want to see them take their foot off the gas one bit, because that's exactly what Vassar did in just 11 days ago, and as we know, that result didn't pay out too well for them.
Well, Vassar now inside the attacking circle, and that one was wide of the goal. Clangs off the outside, and the Bombers get a break. Another breaking shot for Vassar, but the Bombers' defense once again holds up strong as the officials will respot the ball from the top of the circle out towards the wings for the Bombers.
Yeah, both these teams want to move really fast. We've seen a few times now the officials kind of slow them down. As Juliana Valley almost just stole one there with a breakaway.
It was that side pass, and she would have had nothing but green grass ahead of her. Now Vassar will get a bit of a benefit here, and they get to move down the field. Werner tries to pass it into the middle. It's sticked away by the Bombers. Whistle blows. Still Brewer ball.
An unfortunate whistle there, as they might have had an opportunity here.
Top of the circle, a chip towards the top of the goal. Save, and there will be no need for it. Whistle blows. A foul, Bomber ball.
Still a great save, though, there by Alex Clough regardless. She looks sharp today, nonetheless.
Bring in her 8th game as the Bombers look to avenge a loss in the 2021 Liberty League Championship and make it to the 2023 Liberty League Championship. As that one goes out, Vassar ball on that far side. Tries to move it in on the wings. Bombers whiff on it, heads towards the baseline. Vassar furiously trying to move it in, but it does roll out, so a whiff doesn't affect Ithaca. They get it back right there, same spot they would have had it had they held on. Deep pass over the top, and just nothing going, rolls out, Vassar ball.
As you mentioned, that Liberty League final, the other Liberty League semifinal, still knotted at 0-0 in the third now between William Smith and Rochester. Obviously, as Ithaca fans, with a win, definitely got eyes on that game.
Well, a deep pass by the Bombers almost has an opportunity on the other side of the midfield, but it goes away. 7 minutes left to play here in the third. Still a 1-0 Bomber lead. Here in coverage of Liberty League semifinal field hockey on VIC Radio and the Bomber Radio Network. It will be Brewer ball. On that far side, just atop the blue line, they pass it back towards midfield. Brewers chip it in, a miss by the Bombers, but it is eventually picked up by the blue jerseys on defense, and Ithaca tries to retain it.
You can clearly see the halftime adjustments evident from head coach Annie Keatsman. It's her first ever playoff game, and it might have shown as they looked a little rocky, but this Vassar team looks sharp to start the second half.
Keatsman trying to lead her squad past the top-seeded Bombers in the Liberty League. Contention in the middle of the field goes the Bombers' way. Whistles blow. And the clock will stop here as they get to reset the ball. It'll continue now, 6:10 in the third. So a pass towards the sideline rolls out. Brewer ball. Bombers have had a couple of those opportunities on those sidelines. They just have passed the ball out and given Vassar and the ball in the middle of the field, Justin.
Yeah, they've looked a little shaky, especially with such a strong and I'd say precise second quarter. They definitely, Vassar, you can really see the more increased pressure that they're bringing, which is causing these mistakes, especially in the midfield, which is an area of the field that Ithaca absolutely dominated in the first half. So, again, some good halftime adjustments from Annie Keatsman.
As the Brewers toe the line here on the base, tries to pass it in the Bomber territory, nothing going. There's going to be a whistle blown, Bomber ball off a foul. 5:24 left in the third quarter, still 1-0 Ithaca.
Just too many fouls here from this Vassar team. And that's a few times they've had it now in their offensive zone that they've just given away possession. You just can't have those in a playoff game.
Well, Fortunato squibbed it to the bottle for Bellaro, but it goes back to the Brewers. Now it's Werner who passes it inside, intercepted by Ithaca. Heads into the middle of the field. Bombers trying to hold on to touch of it. And there's going to be a whistle blown on a foul, Bomber ball. But immediately losing control is Brianna Schoenfeld. Picked up once again by Ithaca.
Yeah, Brenna Schoenfeld just getting a little ahead of herself there.
As there is some play going on down there. As Natalie Del Scalzo tried to move it along, unable to across that attacking line. Brewer ball, midfield pass goes out of play, and it's back to Bomber ball. A lot of change of possession here in this third quarter in the middle of the field, Justin.
Yeah, again, no team really having, I'd say Ithaca hasn't had any possession so far, at least control possession. We've seen Vassar gain brief possession a little bit earlier in this half, but it's been, a lot of back and forth, just good field hockey all around, and no team really, I'd say the turf isn't really tilted either direction right now.
Well, Bombers trying to tilt it in their favor as there's a pass into the center of the attacking circle, saved by the Brewers.
Yeah, Descalso, just not enough on that pass.
Another opportunity in front, it goes! Goal for the Bombers. That time it does enter the attacking circle, and no one in a white jersey could find it. Bombers increase their lead, and it's Catherine Papa with the goal. Ithaca now 2-0, 3:58 in the third.
As I said, not enough on the first pass, but Descalso not letting herself do the same thing again as she fires a pass over. And I'm pretty sure that was Catherine Papa for the tap-in. Just, 2 tap-in goals there for Ithaca. And that is exactly the insurance they needed. A beautiful pass, a beautiful finish. And like you said, they lead 2-0 and are most definitely in the driver's seat in the Liberty League playoffs.
And we've talked about the crowd all day. That brought the fans at Higgins Stadium to a roar. As play resumes here, 3:52 in the third. Vassar trying to control, and the pass goes outside. And the Bombers will retain possession. So now up by 2, you have a little bit of comfort to room, some insurance to work with, and now Vassar's going to have to work into overdrive.
Now this is exactly where we're going to see that Ithaca defense just stay low. And, they're still playing fast-paced here. Excuse me, Toby.
They move into the attacking third quickly as Sarah DeVito tries to chip it in. Vassar does take it away, but the defense gets a little overzealous.
You hear the crowd. I mean, they are just as much into this as the players on the field, but maybe not now, but if this stay scores 2-0 just a little bit, this is where we might now see them maybe not trying to make as many risky passes over the middle of the field, kind of sit back. And as we know, this defense, and especially Alex Clough, is second to none.
There's a pass into the deep side. It will not count as a goal.
Yeah, that one goes all the way in, but again, you have to touch it in the striking circle, and that one didn't touch anyone in the striking circle, so no goal. I wonder if Sarah Doomrest just kind of let that one in on purpose. But like I was saying, Toby, we're going to see, I feel like, Ithaca, kind of take their foot off the gas a bit and really trust this solid defensive core. I'd say almost a lead, especially amongst the ranks in the Liberty League.
Well, 2:36 left to play here in the third. Bombers now lead 2-0. Vassar will have it right on the midfield line towards that sideline on the near side. Trying to chip it is Heidi Compton. She sends it back. Streaking down is Stelskowski. She gets a stick on it. Vassar retains possession.
And now this is where we kind of look into their personnel, especially of Ithaca, because we know Juliana Valley out there right now. I'd say, obviously, if they're looking for a goal or two, you throw her out there. But as the leading goal scorer, you could see the personnel that Caitlin Wahila wants out there. It's going to be a lot more defensive going forward.
As that one rolls out, it'll be Vassar ball near side to be taken out by Heidi Compton. You talk about defense, waiting there in that neon bandana. Nicole Fortunato has led this team defensively for such a long time as that one rolls wide, and she will get to first that tap in for the Bombers.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the grad student, Toby, 800 minutes and counting at this point now, over 845 for the Bombers just in these last two seasons. There's just such a mix of youth and veteran presence from top to bottom of this team. It's really hard to find a weakness.
As Vassar gets it off of a foul on a touch, they're going to try and control it, but the Bombers' defense holds strong. They get the favor of a whistle, Bomber ball. As Vassar's offense moves into maximum overdrive, but Bombers' defense does the same thing.
Took the words right out of my mouth. We're going to see now, this is where Vassar's going to get a little more aggressive, a little bit more risky, but again, potentially, they might, dig themselves a deeper hole, as we know, especially in field hockey. When you try to play a little too aggressive, that's when obviously the most mistakes come out, and we've seen that already a few times. Just some passes that probably shouldn't be made, but you could see the desperation here from Vassar.
Less than a minute to play here in the third. 45 seconds. It'll be Bomber ball just on the other side of the midfield line. Now 40. They lead 2-0 in the third over Vassar. They pass it back, trying to work with speed, maybe increase that lead as Fortunato on the near side passes it across. Played over by Keely Sullivan. Sullivan up to DeVito. DeVito tries to touch it in, and she does. Held on to by the Bombers. Enters the attacking circle. Bombers still holding on to it, but on the outside as Vassar's defense tightens, rolls out of bounds, and Vassar will get to move it downfield with 15 seconds.
Ainsley Grant had an opportunity to try to get her stick on that one, but she's unable to turn around. A tough play as her back was completely facing the goal, but another good opportunity and a dangerous opportunity.
Bombers quickly want a deep pass, just deflected away. Ball will roll out. Vassar will be able to do nothing here for the rest of the third, but take the ball in that corner, and we're going to go into the quarter break with the Bombers leading 2-0 over Vassar. Justin, the crowd is here. The cowbells are out. This team is now just 15 minutes away from enacting revenge. What did you see there in the third quarter?
I saw exactly what I expected to see. I think we saw a slower start from Ithaca, but I think that's just because Vassar knew they had to be a little bit more aggressive coming out to second half. But as we get later into quarters, you can see why this Bomber team won the Liberty League, why they're the number one seed, because when it comes to it, they make less mental mistakes and they play sharp field hockey, and that's exactly the brand that they put out there today.
And Catherine Papa with that second goal. The Bombers have turned to different names on offense with Papa getting that goal. Now they bring out the defensive lineup. Who's going to be key in that role?
I think you mentioned Nicole Fortunato on that on the outside, but as good as this defense is, it's going to be Alex Clough day in and day out. If there's going to be any opportunities here for Vassar, you're not really looking to find the number who's in the middle. You're looking straight at that bright yellow jersey in number 34, and she has held it down so far. In the limited opportunities she saw, we've seen a few great saves from her, and I think it's just the trust that they have in their goalie.
And where can Vassar's offense kind of pick up? You're down by 2. You need 2 in the last 15. What can they do here?
I think just going to Sophia Besseth. I think, their leading goal scorer in the game so far, in the season so far. You turn to your best players, as we saw. That's exactly what Ithaca's doing. You look at the stat sheet, it's Mira Burry on the goal, and then a Descalso assist. Your 2 best players getting in there and making an impact. That's what Vassar has to do. They got to rely on the backs of their best player. And again, still 15 minutes left to play. We've seen some windows of opportunity potentially for Vassar. Without a doubt, this game is far from over.
And you talk about another game currently in that third quarter break. William Smith and Rochester tied at 0 heading into the fourth. Justin, Bombers fans, obviously for the team on the field, you don't want to set your sights to that next game, but if you're the fans right now, you're up by 2. You got to start looking at that game potentially.
Yeah, this game is dead even. It's 1 corner for Rochester, 0 for William Smith, and 3 saves have been made for Rochester, 2 by William Smith, a dead even split. That one's got overtime written all over it, but again, I'm not one to assume. Who knows? Could get a late goal in there in the fourth quarter as that game is 0-0.
Well, for now, we're going to look away from Geneva and look back to another town on the lakes here in Ithaca as the Bombers start this fourth quarter up 2-0 over Vassar. It will be Brewers starting with the ball as they pass it around that defensive line, down to the far sideline on a deep pass that is corralled. Try to move it in. Descalso all over that one, but it does eventually get through for Vassar.
Can always count on you for the geography, Toby. I have to say, your northeast geography is second to none, and we all appreciate that. Didn't know that. That team resided on a lake, so thanks for that one.
Oh, my extensive collection of atlases is coming out and coming in handy here.
Yeah, it's always good to know your geography. You brought the geography out a few times throughout a few broadcasts we've done together.
Well, that one chipped in by Vassar. Now they're able to move it across that midfield line. Still in contest with the Bombers. A whistle blows, and Vassar can move it down for more.
And now we see the defense kind of getting involved a little bit more. You see Alexa Gwynn, who, a little bit more of a defensive midfielder, now getting involved here. Only 1 assist on the year, but it is a last desperation call here. Got to get everyone involved, are the Brewers.
And Vassar's offense will try and move it here as they do have an opportunity going into the passing circle, but it's knocked off of a Bomber. And so Haley Brigger's going to have to wait. A whistle blows in Bomber ball. And quickly, the Bombers unable to get anything going as Bellaro wasn't looking for it, and it rolls out of play.
See, this is where now they have to know, just slow down. Just slow down a bit. They got a little bit more time to work with. I think that Ithaca, not necessarily is being too aggressive, but you got to look at the clock and the situation. They're up 2 goals. They've been playing lockdown defense all game now. Make Vassar make the mistakes. You don't want to make a preemptive decision and give Vassar a great opportunity as they almost did there.
Well, the Bombers able to move it a bit out of their own defensive end, and they do here now with the whistle. They're going to get an opportunity to position the ball in space. They're going to knock it out is Madeline Goodman. Goodman will have to move it back. 12:54 here to go in quarter number 4 with the Bombers leading 2-0. Pass at the top right on that sideline on the far side by the midfield logo. Whistle blows. Bombers get some more position. Still on the far sideline, trying to keep it right along the line. It is tipped by Vassar, but it works in Descalso's favor as she's able to kick it in. And now the Bombers get some more opportunity in space.
I'm curious to see what their plan of attack. Are they going to just take a lot of passes? Are they going to try to make this 3-0 quickly?
Well, the Bombers do intercept, and they keep it in that Vassar defensive third. But a bit of a foul on Ithaca. They touch it on the wrong side of the stick, and now Vassar gets to go the other way. Immediately picked off by a blue jersey for Ithaca.
That one was close.
They are back. Vassar did have someone streaking down the far side. It looked like Alexa Gwynn was going for it. Just could not make anything happen as it was picked off by Ithaca.
Yeah, that one was very close to a breakaway for Gwynn. A great defensive play, though, there. And that one almost had 2-1 written all over it. But nonetheless, no opportunity as that Ithaca defense remains strong.
Bombers catch a break and move it inside the attacking third, right on the top of the line. Trying to move it out. Whistle blows. Vassar gets a try and keep their offense going. Playing a lot of touch pass right there in the middle, and it does go the Bombers' way. Picked up, heading towards the other zone on the far side. Bombers have it, ball trickling towards the attacking circle, but does get picked up by a white jersey.
This is exactly what you're going to see when you are down 2-0. You're going to see a little bit more preemptively desperation passes, as there's one right there, one way down there that finds no one. But again, those also lead to turnovers, and that's exactly what just happened in Ithaca's attacking zone.
Well, a deep pass, but it does get Vassar 2-on-1 on Fortunato. So unless she can kick it out, Vassar might have a shot here. She's stuck inside that corner, tries to hop it over the stick of a Brewer, rolls out, and Vassar does get possession.
Just a veteran play, though, knowing your surroundings.
As that one heads towards the top of the circle. Picked up by Vassar. Still moving up the top. Here's a shot inside. It is blocked away by Clough.
Another great right pad save there from Clough. But going back to Fortunato, that's the experience of a grad student out there, knowing the situation, knowing that she has time instead of trying to rush a pass, waiting for her teammates to get back and really set up on defense. That's why, being a grad student is so pivotal, for this team.
As whistles blow around there in the middle of the field, Vassar will get it right up top. It looks like Haley Brigger will be making the first touch on it. Justin just inventing new words here on the broadcast.
I meant to say pivotal, but that one threw me off. I don't know why. I don't know where the obel came from, but listen, Toby, I'm not perfect. We're still getting there, but I appreciate, you're known for your geography. I guess I'm known for messing up a few words. As we get a little score update here, it's now 1-0 William Smith. So look at that, no overtime as of now.
Anything can happen in that fourth quarter, as here in the fourth quarter, play resumes. There will be a green card on Brianna Shaw for the Bombers, so they will be down a player for 2 minutes. That's how the green card works in field hockey. As the clock starts, 9:55 here in the fourth quarter, Bombers offense will get a chance to move it out and maybe give them some breathing room in a player down situation.
Yeah, this is a dangerous opportunity here for Vassar. You need a goal here almost to kind of stay alive in this game. But just to go back to that William Smith game quickly, goal was scored by Kate Barilla.
Brianna Shaw's first card of the season against her. There's about 1:30, 90 seconds left in her time in the penalty box. The Bombers get an opportunity streaking down the far side on the sideline. Del Scalzo unable to get it off the stick of a Brewer, and the whistle blows Vassar's way. Deep pass now doesn't quite work, and right there is Nicole Fortunato, who picks it up in that defensive side, but loses it right away, and Vassar is there. Just a bad pass that got tipped in front of her, and Vassar's all over it. Whistles go. Vassar opportunity. 1 minute left in the penalty. 9 left in the fourth quarter. Brewers into the attacking zone. Bombers knock it out, and defensively, they're able to pass it off towards the sidelines.
Just a good defensive play there. I believe that might have been Bella McAllister.
Pass inside the circle. Fortunato on top of it. Centering pass in front of the goal. Whistles blow. Bomber ball. Foul on the Brewers.
Just unable to set up any possession on the green card. I mean, it almost looks like we're at even strength right now. Just nothing really going in terms of possession for the Brewers.
That's how overwhelming the Bombers have been, as Fortunato just moving that ball down the far sideline. But it will be picked up by Vassar. 8:22 to go here in quarter number 4, and now just 10 seconds remain in the penalty against the Bombers. Now ball moves down other side. Pass in front. Fortunato sticks it, lets it roll out as it does go off of Vassar. And the Bombers will be back to even strength here as play resumes. 8:01 to go. Deep pass back for Vassar. Ithaca back on top of it. Brewers try to move it inside as it's Maggie Werner. And a whistle blows foul, and the Bombers get the ball back. They survive the first card of today's game. Fortunato with it on the near sideline. Inside that far near corner. Pass goes inside, but the Bombers are there to deflect it to a favorable stick.
Yeah, as you now see, bringing back on Ainsley Grant. A little bit more attacking. Still no Juliana Valley, though. Again, that's just because of the situation. As good of a goal scorer as she is, defensive is clearly the mindset of head coach Caitlin Wakila.
Yeah, Valley, the striker, now off as the Bombers bring on that more defensive presence. We see it as Vassar has had the ball in the attacking third a lot, but right now the Bombers have a good opportunity. They've got attackers deep and have the ball right there in midfield. A side pass towards that far sideline. Fortunato playing way back as that went to the Scalzo. She tries to send it inside, a whistle inside the attacking circle. There's going to be a corner.
As great of an offensive player Natalie Descalso is, her ability to turn defense to offense is second to none. We've seen multiple times, especially when they were down a player, just creating opportunities for herself after a phenomenal defensive play. We saw it there again, and just because of that, she forces a corner, and now this is really the chance for the Bombers to put the nail in the coffin. Now to note, no Brenna Schoenfield out there, so we'll see a different look from the corner. I wonder who it will be taking it out, as Schoenfield is currently not on the field.
Well, looks like as the Bombers start to break, it will be their fourth corner of the game. The crowd making this one the loudest. Bombers waiting on top of the ball.
It'll be Catherine Papa to take it out, the goal scorer.
Papa sends it into the top of the circle. Picked up by the Bombers. They just try a little touch pass inside. Brewers converge defensively. Now a pass down to Descalso. She shoots and scores! Natalie Descalso continues being the bearer of the Bombers' good luck all season, and they're trying to gift wrap a trip to the Liberty League Championship game. It's 3-0.
The crowd loves it. The sideline loves it. And what a goal there from Natalie Descalso. Just taking her time in the striking circle. A few passes. It lands on her stick. And she loves to score against Vassar. That's 2 goals now in 2 games against Vassar. Well, 2 goals in 2 games in the last 2 games that they've played. And definitely showing why she's arguably the best player on this Bomber squad.
6:41 left here in the fourth quarter. As you mentioned, Descalso's second ever goal against the Brewers. Her first came earlier in this season. It got them the win, and this one may gift wrap a chance to play in their second Liberty League Championship game in the last 3 years.
Big players show up in big moments. She showed up in the game just 11 days ago against Vassar to give them the Liberty League. She shows up again today with a goal and an assist. I mean, you couldn't ask for more from Descalso.
Well, Vassar now down by 3, defensively trying to move it out, but it's intercepted by who else but Descalso. Brings it back top of the line. Bombers move it in deep on a pass, intercepted by a Brewer. In those white and maroon uniforms, they try and dribble it back. Nothing going. As high contest on defense, Bombers get a little too aggressive inside on the ball. Whistle blows, and Vassar gets some free territory, but deep pass intercepted by the Bombers, and once again, Vassar will take it from that midfield line.
Now, this is where we're going to have to, this is the last ditch effort with only 5 minutes left. Vassar needs 3 goals. We're going to see ultra aggression here, especially from that back line.
As the Bombers defense now pulling back, they'll have the ball currently. They try and pass it into that middle third. Vassar on top of it. They get some little bit overzealous, and that's what you talk about there. You're down by 3 with 5 minutes left to play. You start to get a little aggressive, and a foul goes the Bombers' way, and they can take their time to spot it.
The more aggressive, likely the more mistakes, and we've seen that throughout the fourth quarter, especially on that last corner.
Well, it's Fortunato who passes it down deep, and now the Bombers have a chance in space in the Vassar third. Holding on to it, a pass inside, intercepted by Vassar. An opportunity for Moses and the Bombers, nothing going there, but picked off by Ithaca, and they get to reset on that near side corner in the attacking zone. 4:46 left here in the fourth quarter, and a foul on the Bombers, so Vassar will get an opportunity to play it out.
Yeah, you mentioned Avery Moses. I actually had the pleasure of sitting down with her earlier in the season, and when we asked her about this team, it was all about, we're one unit. They feel so close. Head coach Caitlin Wahila even has the team over for dinners. Sometimes we'll cook them dinner. So you could see it out there, how much of a team they're playing like today, and it really shows. And Moses, the senior, can definitely attest to that, one of the veterans on this team.
That one intercepted by the Bombers after an attacking opportunity by Vassar. And you're thinking here, family weekend. They're making a family feast on Friday night, trying to send the Bombers back to the Liberty League Championship game and get revenge on Vassar. That one into the attacking circle. That will not count as a goal. It does go in, but no goal for Vassar.
I mean, Juliana Ishmi was right there, just unable to get the stick on it, as, you know, they're not going to second guess it. Did not touch the stick. But again, that's an opportunity you need to capitalize on. No one in front of you. You have to find a way to at least get a stick on her. Make Alex Clough make a save.
As now the Bombers, on an opportunity by Vassar, quickly take it away with 3:30 left to play. They chip it down on that sideline, but it is intercepted by Vassar at the top of the attacking zone. Moves it over into the midfield territory. And that attacking part inside the circle, and a whistle blows.
Looks like it'll be a corner for Vassar, a much-needed corner, as there's still 3 minutes and 16 seconds left, but I'd say this is about as a must-score corner as you can have. You're down 3-0. You need a goal here. I don't even know what potential look they can give. I mean, they've had some decent opportunities on corners so far, as it'll be Maggie Warner once again taking it out. See, the difference between the Vassar corners and Ithaca corners, see how widespread Vassar is around that striking circle. Ithaca likes to be a lot more tighter.
Brewers take it in. First pass is indeed outside. They try and pass it inside the circle, and nothing goes. It goes wide of the net past the baseline, a must-score opportunity. They're unable to do it then as they send it a little far wide, but it'll still be Vassar ball.
Looks like Haley Brigger visually upset with how that one went down. I can't tell if she was asking for a call there or...
Vassar making a substitution. Out comes Dumaresque. In comes an extra attacker, so down by 3 with 2:45 in the fourth. They're going to try and just bring the heavy.
Yeah, you pull the goalie. I mean, this is pretty early on, but again, down 3 goals. You know, last-ditch effort here in the playoff, potentially your last game of the season. You got to try everything.
Well, Vassar will be pulling out all the stops. They now have an extra attacker on the field in offensive territory. Bombers defense crowding on top of the ball.
I wonder what the weight is here with the whistle.
It will be 2:28 when Vassar first touches it. Left here in the fourth. We are still waiting on this time. Justin, what does that extra attacker really mean for this Vassar offense?
I mean, I'd say it means a lot, but it really doesn't. We saw when they had the extra attacker, it still seemed like Ithaca was at even strength, and now they put an extra attacker there. There's the clock. They should still be at 3:15. You let it run down. They correct that one. But again, as Ithaca, again, retains possession right here. But it didn't really look like Vassar had a player up. Let's see if that changes now.
As the Bombers move it into the other side of midfield, so the extra attacker doesn't help immediately for Vassar. As the Brewers in desperation mode, sub 3 minutes, down by 3 here in quarter number 4 of the Liberty League semifinals in field hockey. As the Bombers will make a change on the other side.
It's like Brenna Schoenfield comes out of the game. Had a great game today, was the sophomore.
That will be another card on Schoenfield. So green card, 2 minutes. Vassar will now have 2 extra attackers on the Bombers.
I mean, that, maybe not having 1 player up, but 2. That's potentially a big difference. Now, there's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. You need a goal in the next 40 seconds if you're Vassar to at least give you a fighting chance here. Because then you'll still have a player up after the green card expires, if there were to be a goal, of course. But you got to score. At least get an opportunity deep in, but Ithaca will start with the ball here.
Scoring 3 goals in under 3 minutes is difficult, but not impossible. Vassar trying to prove that now as they move into the attacking zone, right at the top of the circle. Right down by that baseline, a pass in front, just patted away by Clough, and she does a good job to take anything away before it can materialize in front for Vassar.
Yeah, Clough just holding down the fort. She's looked atop of her game all day, and just, again, how comfortable she is even in high-leverage situations.
Right there at the top of the line, Bomber a ball after a whistle. 2 minutes now left in this contest. Bombers defense just playing touch passes low. They will not try anything too deep or too far as they try and waste the clock. Skips around the boundary mark, and it will be Vassar ball.
So we actually had a matching green card for Vassar as well, Haley Brigger. So it'll still only be 1 player up for 1 player up for Vassar with the net empty.
And now the Bombers get it here on the near side. They are streaking into Vassar territory. And it will be Brewer ball after a foul call, so they'll get it right there on the line.
I think they might have called that one out of bounds, but I don't think that one actually went out of bounds.
They called it out of bounds. It looked to be right on that line. Some confusion as it skips off the foot of Juliana Valley. Still Brewer ball.
Who is now in the game late in the fourth.
So 29 seconds remaining in the penalty for Schoenfeld. Still 37 left on Vassar. Bombers streaking down that far sideline with 1:15 to go in the fourth. Intercepted by the Brewers, who now would have to make a 3-goal deficit in just about 60 seconds. Not impossible, but seems just about impossible.
Yeah, I never like to write off anything until that clock hits triple zeros. But as we near down, just a great overall game played by Ithaca from start to finish. They looked a little slow in the beginning, but that's the adjustments of a veteran head coach, and we saw that here. And I'd say, without a doubt, the better team is likely going to win today, barring a miracle here from Vassar late.
Well, Schoenfield is back. Brigger is back. So Vassar once again at a one-player advantage with their goalie pulled. 30 seconds remain. It will be Brewer ball. Bombers lead 3-0 and have all but punched their ticket to the Liberty League Championship, which would be played here on Sunday at about 1 o'clock is the thinking for the time. Still no time set.
And along with that, William Smith, I believe, is officially the victor in the William Smith-Rochester game. So we'll be getting a rematch of last year's game.
10 seconds on the clock. Vassar will look to take it down. Here comes the crowd. A pass inside, picked by the Bombers. Vengeance, thy name is Ithaca. After losing the Liberty League Championship 2 years ago to Vassar on this very turf, the Bombers, an outstanding win, 3-0 over the Brewers, and it's a chance to go back to the Liberty League Championship and exact revenge on another team that downed them in the playoffs last year, William Smith.
Just a great overall game from start to finish, and congratulations to this team. Clearly the better team in this one. They get their much needed revenge, but there is still revenge out there as they lost to William Smith last year, Toby. They still have yet to hang up a Liberty League Championship banner since joining the Liberty League, and the #1 seed now, the Bombers look to completely rewrite history on Sunday.
Well, Justin, with family weekend right here and the crowd in an all game, they now get in as the strings of Hall & Oates play out here as the Bombers field hockey team downs Vassar, gets their revenge 3-2 all day for Ithaca.
Yeah, that offense from top to bottom, we saw so many players get involved, but it's the Natalie Descalso story. A goal and an assist on the day. We mentioned Mira Burry as well with a goal, and just dominant but patient performance, and we see that them not being over aggressive really paid off for them, especially later in this game.
Well, all the feels here from Higgins Stadium as the Bombers 3-0. They down Vassar and punch their ticket to a Liberty League Championship game appearance here on the South Hill on Sunday. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the post-game show here for Bomber Field Hockey.
Hey, Connor. I would play. Let's play